Republican George Logan is hoping to flip the 5th District. I invited him to sit down with me on this program. He has declined my invitations, but he recently went through his voting record with political contributor Mike Cerulli.
Less than 1 percentage point separated Congresswoman Jahana Hayes and Republican George Logan in their 2022 race. Now Hayes, a Democrat, serves in a Congress where Republicans hold a similarly slim majority. Just 8 seats separate the two parties. George Logan hopes to bolster that Republican majority and go to Washington as a new voice for Connecticut. We sat down with Logan for a conversation about his record and what voters could expect from him if he does get to serve in Congress.
There's just so much to do. There's so much hope. We have so much potential, and I'm looking forward to rolling up my sleeves, getting down to Washington, and really being part of the solution.
Hope is a word you hear a lot when you talk to Republican George Logan. The son of Guatemalan immigrants raised in New Haven, Logan served 2 terms in the state Senate from 2017 to 2021 before moving to the 5th District. Logan points to his voting record in the state Senate as evidence of bipartisanship, proving that to voters will be his biggest challenge as he seeks to win a district that has voted for every Democratic president in this century.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson!
Logan has already drawn criticism for campaigning with national figures like House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is strongly opposed to abortion rights. Logan says he sees that issue differently.
I've been very consistent in terms of my stance on abortion. I support a woman's right to choose. I support Connecticut's law on abortion, and I will do everything in my power to protect the woman's right to choose.
Logan touting a perfect score he once received from an abortion rights group.
I would not support a national ban on abortion.
On guns, another hot-button issue, Logan voted in favor of Ethan's Law, a bipartisan measure imposing stricter requirements for gun storage, spurred by the death of Guilford teenager Ethan Song.
It's just so important that we work together to solve our common problems, and I look to bring some of that to Washington.
He also voted in favor of the state's landmark bipartisan budget in 2017, one that imposed controls around future state spending after years of fiscal crisis.
That's the type of legislation that I was very much in favor of, right? Working in a bipartisan manner, doing things that's going to actually help the people of the district. And as a result, you're actually seeing some tax cuts coming as a result of that 2017 bipartisan budget.
Logan's record does include some votes that fell largely along party lines. After the 2017 mass shooting at a Las Vegas concert, Logan voted against a measure to ban bump stocks. Explain that vote.
Sure. So, one, Connecticut has some of the strictest gun laws in all of the United States of America, right? My take is that our issue here in Connecticut is that we need to do more to enforce the laws that we have. When it comes to bump stocks, the reality of it is that anything could be made into a bump stock, including a rubber band, right? So, Mike, we're talking about bump stocks. You and I both know that most folks don't even know what a bump stock is, right? But the issue here is that we need to focus on enforcement.
Logan also voted against raising the state minimum wage to $15.
That bill you're referring to is that increased minimum wage. It's been a crusher for small businesses, and that was the argument that I made, back then. Let's take a look at restaurants, right? So the minimum wage goes into effect. Restaurants have to raise their rates. They have very small margins, a profitability margin, right? So what do? They pass those increased costs, that extra tax, over to the consumer. So now food prices, are higher, and that's a result of government-induced inflation. We have to look at the results from the last time we were in this race together to now. Things have only gotten worse. Things have only gotten more expensive.
He says the incumbent's party has enacted spending and regulatory policies that have contributed to inflation. He points to his record in the state Senate as evidence he would work toward affordability.
I fought against regularly increased regulations, right? I think we need less regulations, not more. I believe we need to support small businesses, which I did as a state legislature. I plan on doing that in Washington as well. The main issue that I'm hearing is about affordability. We need to do things to make things more affordable for folks.
Logan's message on the economy is also tied to his message on another top issue for voters, crime. He sees inner city crime as a particular barrier for economic development.
If we have safer communities, if folks feel more comfortable living in those communities, if businesses are attracted to come into our urban areas more than they are now, Waterbury and Danbury and New Britain and my hometown Meriden, I believe that it will just improve all of our communities.
He touts a vote he took to help ban so-called ghost guns in Connecticut.
I believe that, for example, the ghost gun bill, having firearms without registration on or serial numbers, was something that I voted in favor of.
Logan also voted against the 2020 Police Accountability Bill, which was drafted in response to the death of George Floyd and contained measures intended to curb police misconduct. Opponents like Logan said the bill hamstrung police. Today, he points to many police departments still working to meet staffing goals.
Waterbury is the police department is practically begging, for help, for resources to help them to enforce the laws that are on the book.
The GOP candidate says in D.C. he'll prioritize funding for law enforcement.
We need to encourage investments here in Connecticut, right? And we do that by making our communities safer, right? So we help to restore security. We help to provide funding for law enforcement.
I'm Mike Cerulli, News 8.
So what is the state of this race and others? Former Republican State Senator Kevin Rennie joins us after the break.